This is one of the illegal crossing here in Mpumalanga between Eswatini and South Africa. Most of these people are already fleeing their country, and some of them, they're just coming to get basic services. Within minutes of our arrival, a stream of people coming into South Africa, some as young as 8 years old. They are seeking food as supplies are fast running out.
Everything is closed. Shops are looted or closed. Banks are also closed. They told us they will only open after the strike. It's really a punishment. Wednesday, I walked a long distance to the clinic because there is no transport.
No, we just want to be free. Live the life that you want to live. So that's all we want.
Have you heard of people dying or people being injured?
There are so many. There are so many people who died, even since on Monday. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've got 28 dead people. So some of them, they are so badly injured.
The Eswatini government has disputed reports of deaths and the use of martial law, but residents claim over 50 people have died and hundreds have been injured.
Soldiers and police and also warders, they are using this time to harass Swazis. They get into each and every homestead, try to check some groceries without even knowing whether you bought the groceries or they are part of those who were looted. They take them and brutalize members of the community, and also they just shoot at anyone after the curfew, because the curfew has been made to be 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So anyone who is found on the streets at that particular time, he got shot at. We have got a lot of people. Otherwise, at the moment, the numbers are estimated to be around 53 of those who died due to the shootings, and also we have over 207 of those who have been hospitalized.
Social media and online platforms remain suspended. An airlink has suspended flights in and out of the kingdom until the 5th of July. Dumela Machogo, SABC News in Mpumalanga.
Well, for an update on the situation inside Eswatini, we're now joined by the president of the People's United Democratic Movement, PUDEMO, Mlungisi Makhanya. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having us, Peter, and good evening to the listeners of your show.
So we're seeing a lot of people from Eswatini crossing the border into South Africa, and they're pretty desperate for simple things such as food. What is the situation inside the country at the moment?
The situation inside the country, Peter, is still very tense. There is a prevailing atmosphere that people who have witnessed the indiscriminate killing of their family and friends are engulfed by a great sense of fear. It is still very difficult to access basic services and goods, as many shops are closed and the streets are deserted.
What have you seen with your own eyes in terms of some of these abuses that are being reported?
We have been receiving calls endlessly from very distraught and worried family members who are saying their kids and their relatives have been missing for the past 48 hours. We have today visited a number of police stations trying to inquire about the whereabouts of many of these kids who are being kidnapped in the middle of the night by the soldiers of this regime, and they are not presented to court. So what I've seen with my own eyes, for instance, by yesterday afternoon, the main hospital in Mbabane had amputated 16 people, with the last patient having had both legs amputated. But also I've seen dead bodies of people who have been shot. Tomorrow we are scheduled with other leaders to ensure that we transport some of these dead bodies to the towns in the outskirts, because what these soldiers have been doing, remember, people were working in the industrial town of Matsapa, where many of the casualties were encountered. They were shooting people there and just dumping them in the nearest mortuary. Now the families have requested that we assist with the repatriation of those bodies to the far-flung towns in the rural areas. So the situation is quite tense. But Peter, we must make this clear. We hold King Mswati solely liable for this massacre of our people, because a closer reading of the Constitution of Swaziland makes it clear that in terms of that Constitution, the government of Swaziland is constituted by and through the King. And the source of all government power or authority is the King. So the authority of government is exercised by and through him. So everything that has happened in terms of the massacring of the people, it is done through and by the King. So Mswati is the one who is responsible for the continuous massacre and kidnapping and indiscriminate assault on our people.
Has the King addressed the nation at all since the demonstrations began?
He hasn't, Peter, but we are not surprised. The nation is sort of used that every time Swaziland is confronted with difficult challenges, the King just go into hibernation. We experienced same when COVID-19 started. At the advent of the deadly pandemic, the King just decided to go under and never said anything and provided leadership to this nation. It is the case even now. Despite the massive loss of life, we have not heard a word from the King. Not that we are looking for anything, Peter, because we don't think that he still has the moral authority to be regarded as the leader of this country. There is no government that can commit such a massacre, such a heinous crime against its people, that can still claim legitimacy.
Do the demonstrations continue? I know that there's a curfew from almost dusk to dawn now.
Yes, all shops are expected to be closed by 3:30, and the curfew starts at 6 p.m. in the evening. We met today with all stakeholders and took a decision that in light of the indiscriminate killing of our people, it will be irresponsible of us to continue urging our people to go out there and put their lives at risk. So we decided that what we are going to do, we are going to embark on a mass stay away as from tomorrow. And we are going to urge our people to only turn out on Saturday next week, when we are going to have a series of prayers for all the departed martyrs who have been killed in this noble struggle to bring about democratic change in Swaziland. At the heart of this struggle, Peter, is a struggle for survival. Our people are extremely poor. It is for this reason that they took out to the streets to say they need a change of government. They need a government that is going to care about them, as opposed to a regime that only cares about leading a lavish lifestyle when our people are dying from unnecessary diseases and hunger.
What will end this for you? What needs to happen?
Well, what needs to happen, Peter, is very clear from where we sit at. We need an immediate withdrawal of the soldiers from the streets. We need an absolute commitment to a genuine, all-inclusive dialogue with the sole intention of resolving this problem. But most importantly, we need transfer of power from this royal dynasty to the hands of the people of Swaziland as a whole. And nothing less than the meeting of these demands that we're having will make us leave the picket lines. We are prepared, if needs be, to pay the ultimate price, because for us there is nothing more to lose, but we have got our freedom to gain. If we don't live to experience this freedom, at least our commitment is that let our kids grow up in a more caring country than what we have experienced in our lifetime.
Have the authorities given you any indication that they're ready to negotiate and to listen to some of your demands?
We have not heard anything from the authorities. All the authorities that they've been doing is to deny, one, that a lot of people have been killed. They are even denying the fact that a lot of people are in Mswati's prisons, and a lot of people have been attended by health officials for gun wounds. So we have a government here that doesn't care. But it is easy to understand why the government responds like this. As one was alluding to earlier, the power in this country rests with one man and one man only. So the government that is there, led by the acting prime minister, they themselves are confused what to say, because the person who's supposed to be telling them how they should be responding to these issues has decided to go under and not say a word. So the government has not been saying anything except the denial, except the shutting down of the internet, so that we are unable to demonstrate to the world with visuals and regular updates the atrocities that are being committed on the ground.
Would you like SADC, the African Union, to intervene?
Yes, we would like SADC, the African Union, but most importantly, South Africa as our biggest trading partner, to intervene and drive some sense into the key. We think this is a great indictment, in particular on South Africa, that received so much solidarity and support from ordinary sources during the difficult years of apartheid. We think that the ANC needs to look itself on the mirror and decide if indeed it has abandoned its known principle of progressive internationalism at the convenience of wanting to over-respect the useless principle of sovereignty when people are being massacred.
Mr. Makhanya, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very, very much indeed for that update, and we'll carry on watching this story, and thanks for giving voice to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter.
All right, that's the president of the People's Union, United Democratic Movement, PUDEMO, one of the key opposition parties in the country, saying that their people are being massacred by the authorities. The internet has been shut down, and that's why we were on the phone. We couldn't do a Zoom interview with him because the internet is inaccessible. And he talked about scores of people having legs amputated and other amputations taking place as a result of injuries. That's a story we'll continue to cover for you. Stay with us after the break.